Welcome back to another review of vegan and plant-based foods by me, a non-vegan. Today we're going to be looking at vegan jerky. So yeah, we got some vegan jerky offerings here. There's one I couldn't get, but I'll talk about that as well. So we got two from Plantiful. We've got grilled teriyaki flavour and hot and spicy flavour. And then we've got a teriyaki plant-based jerky from the Curators. To try to make this a completely fair test, I'm also going to be testing these against. I've got some Wild West honey barbecue beef jerky. I've got some Jack Link's sweet and hot beef jerky. And then I've got King's bacon jerky here. This brand here, King's, they do a plant-based jerky, but I couldn't get it. I've had it before and it wasn't that impressive, but we'll talk about that later if it's similar to one of these. So I think probably the first thing to do is have a look at the ingredients, and I'll just kind of summarise those, I think. So this is a soya-based jerky. I think I'll put all the ingredients down in the video description if you want to look at them in detail. So these two are soya-based. This one is a wheat-based, so this is like seitan, this is like tofu. And these are beef, obviously, beef, and bacon. Now, it should not come as any surprise that these things have ingredients because these are manufactured foods, whereas these are slices of animal that have been marinated and then dried. So it shouldn't come as a surprise that these have got ingredients. Looking at the list of ingredients, actually, it looks like the meat-based ones have actually got more ingredients and things like nitrites and sodium ascorbate. So, you know, people often complain about chemical-sounding names in vegan foods. It's probably true that these things have got just as much. But anyway, all the details will be in the video description if you want them. As a palate cleanser between tastings, I've got this Weissbier. This is number 2 in my beer advent calendar that I was given. So this is a German Weissbier, nicely cold. So we'll pull that out in a moment. I think I'll do this all on this tray because this is my studio desk and it is clean, but it's not quite clean enough to eat off. So grilled teriyaki. Teriyaki is kind of the default flavour for jerky as far as I can tell. Okay, so shaking that out, it kind of looks like dog treats, let's be honest. It's weird little flaky bits of protein. That's what it looks like. So that's the vegan teriyaki from Plantiful. We'll have a look at I don't expect this is going to be all that different. Tear strip didn't work, so we'll just use one of these. Okay, so that's the hot and spicy one, which is a little bit more red, probably chili in there. And then this one is the Curators wheat-based jerky. Packets tend to be really tough on these. I suppose that's probably just to preserve the contents. Okay. Again, looks like dog treats, but then jerky does look like dog treats. This is more of a meaty looking sort of thing. And I think we'll put these three alongside. So we'll do this is honey barbecue beef jerky. Now these aren't going to be surprising how they look. They are going to be, there we go. So that's the Wild West honey barbecue beef jerky. I mean, actually, doesn't look that different, does it? This is Jack Link's sweet and hot, and this one is more recognisably slices of meat, and the bacon jerky looks like what it is. It's pieces of dried bacon. Okay, let's get going on tasting now. So I'm just going to get the beer poured so that we can have a little palate cleanser between tastings, because jerky and beer obviously is a common combination. These are beer snacks very often. That's good. Like many of Weissbier, that's really quite light and refreshing. And yeah, that'll be a perfect palate cleanser. Okay, we're going to start off with the Plantiful vegan jerky grilled teriyaki flavour. Quite sweet. It's got a good chew to it, but a kind of mealy texture. Not bad flavour, quite sweet I would say. Almost like a sweet curry flavour actually. And then the Plantiful hot and spicy. Texture obviously the same, again really sweet. Not that hot and spicy, but then things in packets that say they're hot and spicy. Very seldom are. Okay. And then the Curators Teriyaki plant-based jerky. This is the one that's based on seitan. So, harder, less flavour. Well, yeah, that's disappointing. Honestly, I'm just going to check I haven't bought dog treats here. Now, that does appear to be for human consumption, but yeah, that doesn't taste like it's a human food. That tastes like it might be a dog treat, that one. Now, I'm not going to be doing the EVA test with these because they're typically quite high in salt and nitrates and things like that, and I just don't think that would be fair to subject the dog to that. I also don't want her to cultivate an appetite for this sort of thing. Okay, now the Wild West Honey Barbecue Beef Jerky. Well, in terms of flavour, it's less sweet than these two. I would say that's probably kind of on a par with these. These are a bit too sweet, but texture-wise, similar. Okay, Jack Link's Sweet and Hot. Now this is actually recognisable strips of meat. Now that one knocks all the others out of the park so far. It's got more flavour and spice than this one. It's definitely more savoury and umami sort of flavour than anything we've tasted so far. Yeah, it's much better. Okay, and then the bacon jerky, which is a bit of an outlier anyway, because most of this is about emulating beef jerky. But anyway, bacon jerky. This is King's Diamond Edition jerky, the world's most succulent bacon. Okay, well, we'll see about that, won't we? Well, surprisingly similar, actually, in terms of texture. Obviously more smoky because it's bacon. Now I'm going to go back in reverse order and taste these veggie ones again, so that we kind of got a before and after comparison. Yeah, got a weird kind of fishiness to it. I'm not really sure what that is. It's got Carrageenan in there, but Carrageenan's normally fairly neutral flavour. I don't know whether it's the ginger combining with the garlic and mushrooms that makes it taste a little bit seafoody. Kind of weird. But yeah, that one's underwhelming on flavour, and the texture, it's got a weird sort of wheaty, nutty flavour, as it well should because it's made of wheat. On texture, it's just a bit dry. Anyway, Plantiful Hot and Spicy. I would say actually that one's best of the vegan jerkies. Okay, and then the grilled teriyaki flavour, Plantiful. Just way too sweet, that one. Okay, I'm going to try and rank these now, based on just my own subjective opinions of it. I just need to taste this one again, actually. Okay, the scores. In last place, 6th place, Curators Teriyaki Plant-Based Jerky. Just lacking on flavour. The flavour that is there is kind of weird, and the texture is not great either. It's just under-flavoured, and the texture's kind of dry, and I kind of wondered for a moment if I was eating pet food there. In 5th place, Plantiful Vegan Jerky, grilled teriyaki flavour. Kind of okay, but a bit too sweet. Kind of oversweet, really, for what it needs to be. Texture was okay, a little bit on the mealy side, but nice chew to it. But yeah, flavour just was all sweetness, really. In 4th place, we've got a meat-based one here, which is the Wild West Honey Barbecue Beef Jerky. So this is beef silverside, marinated, smoked and cooked. I just found it a bit underwhelming, really. It was just not that great. And compared to the 3rd place, which is the Plantiful Hot and Spicy, okay, not perhaps quite as meaty tasting, but overall, in terms of texture and flavour and spice level, better than that one, I think. And 2nd place is the King's Bacon Jerky. It might be a little bit unfair to have this one even in this test, because the rest of them are kind of emulating beef jerky, and this is a pork-based jerky. So, you know, if you want to reduce this down to a ranking of 5 and just ignore that one, it still works. And then 1st place, Jack Link's Beef Jerky Sweet and Hot. Just the best level of seasoning and flavour and spice. So there we go, that's the lineup from last to first. And I think what's notable here is we have got a plant-based jerky that has beaten one of the meat-based jerkies. So that's an interesting outcome. Obviously that's all subjective and that's just my opinion. I do quite like jerky, so I feel like I have an opinion that matters. I haven't in this test done the King's plant-based jerky. It was actually quite similar. It was somewhere between these two. It was not very tasty and it was not very nice texture. It was kind of mealy, a little bit flaky, better than the Curators one, not as good as the Plantiful. Just as an afterthought, I've just ranked them in terms of their protein content here for information. So we got this one claiming 40% protein content. These are around 27, 28%, and these are around 20%. So there we go. That was a roundup of plant-based jerkies and the comparison to meat-based jerky. Interested to know what you think about this in the comments. I might do a part 2 of this video where I try to make my own plant-based beer snacks. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.